my channel. Thanks for watching my new video. I am going to be playing around with some color today. I have been feeling a little bit inspired. I decided to do this blue dramatic eye. This is not the easiest makeup look to do ever. I did enjoy it. It looks super cool, especially when I close my eyes. I've got some glitter going on. I'm going to show you guys how I did it. It's going to be a talk through video. Before we get started, I would like to remind you to hit that subscribe button below. Click the bell next to it so that you'll get a notification every time I upload a new video, and leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I think we're good. So I went ahead and did this eye off camera. And I did that just because I would be, as an artist, all over the place and not knowing what I'm doing. So now that I've done this eye, I know what I'm using, I know what I'm doing, and I'm just going to show y'all what it is that I am using and what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I went ahead and did my brows off camera. With that being said, I did use something new that I got in my Boxycharm box. I will also link my link to use that down below. But I got this, and this is the Chella Tantalizing Taupe Eyebrow Cream. And it's really cool because it screws off on the bottom, and the product is in here, and you can screw it on, and then there's like a top, and it comes with the brush. And that's what I used on my brows, and it's actually the perfect color for my brows, and it was very easy to use. Like, I just filled them in, and basically I didn't really even have to clean them up a lot, but it did work pretty well. So anyways, I wanted to tell you guys about what I used on my brows, and this is it. I will link it below, of course, as always. I went ahead and cleaned up under my brows. I used some concealer and a flat, y'all know my flat concealer brush. This is just a really small brush, and I just go under the brows and clean them up. And now I'm going to take that same product that I love to use, my NYX Full Coverage Concealer Pot in the shade Fair, and I'm going to prime my lids using this Real Techniques brush. This is a crease prep brush, so it's pretty full, pretty dense. I do love this brush because it does give not a whole lot of product, but a thin, perfect amount of product on your lid. So I'm just going to dip into that and go ahead and buff it all on my eye and blend it in so that I even out my skin tone on my lid for the colors to show up true to tone. I want the colors to be super bright and super close to the color they're actually supposed to be, so I like to do this first. And I like to bring it all the way in the inner part of the eye and all the way out, just in case. Right, so I'm actually using a lot of palettes because not a lot of palettes have a lot of blue colors in them that are just really pretty. And there were a lot of colors that I wanted to play with in this video that I had not used yet. So first up, I'm going to be using out of my Boxycharm box last month. I used this in my last video. It's the Alamar Cosmetics palette. And I really wanted to try out this Verona blue. So that's going to go in my crease as my transition. So first thing I'm going to do is not set my eye with any powder. I'm just going to put that base down like I just did. And I'm going to take a tapered blending brush. This brush that I used is from the Urban Decay Heat palette, and it's just the tapered end. And I'm just going to dip into that and go ahead and just slap this in my crease. Alright, so that's the shape that you want to do first. And then I'm going to start cleaning up this outer portion. So what I like to do is to take a clean blending brush. This is just another clean, lightly buff this outer part of the color out so that it's not a harsh line right there. And I want to go ahead and start bringing this color out towards my brow a little bit. Okay, and then I'm actually going to dip into that color one more time, and I'm going back into the blue with that same Urban Decay brush, and I'm just going to pack this color on a little bit more. I do this because that clean brush I just used tends to some of the pigment from this blue shade, so I like to go back over that. Then I'm going to pick up that brush again and just run over it again. Alright, next up I'm going to go into my Juvias Place palette. This is one of my favorite palettes, and I'm actually going to go ahead and pick up the shade Chad, which is this matte black color, and I'm going to place that in my crease. And I'm actually using a flat shader brush by Bodyography Pro. The reason why I like to use these flat shader brushes when I go into this is because I'm able to really press, it's flat, so I'm able to take that shape and push it into my crease like this. And we're just going to pack this color on. It's okay if you bring it too much down here because we're going to clean it up with concealer when we cut the crease. And then I'm going to take another just regular brush, and this is a different brush, but I'm just going to merge this Chad color with this Veradero shade, this blue, and blend these two together just a little bit so that that line is a little bit more cleaned up. And now we're getting somewhere. And then you can always take this brush again and just kind of go over the outer part. I'm kind of laying it flat against my eyelid, that way that it's kind of merging all of the colors together and not just this outer portion anymore. Alright, and like we did again with that blue shade, I'm going to take this flat shader brush again and dip into this black and go back and pack on a little bit more pigment. The key to this is to not be afraid to put too much color on your eye because you're about to cut the crease, and anything that's on your eye right now is going to get cleaned off anyways. Alright, and then sometimes if I start to lose more of the blue than I really want to, I'll dip back in just a little and run it right where those colors meet again. So now we're going to go ahead and cut the crease, and with that I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light Neutral. This is my favorite just because I like the way that it dries down. This is a concealer brush like the brush that I showed you in the beginning of this video, and I'm just going to cut my crease with this. So I just take it out and I put a little on the back of my hand. And the key to this is to take your time, be patient, go slowly, do not hurry doing this because it is not the easiest type of thing to do on your eyes, but it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice. So I like to start right in the middle and I just kind of bring it down, and then I kind of look straight and make sure that I am following it correctly. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in the inner portion of my eye and just kind of map out where I'm putting this. Then once I start getting like the overall shape down, I like to hold my head back and make sure that I'm patting this product into my lid. I don't necessarily want to swipe all of this around on my lid because it's going to move all the pigment up under it and make it turn into like a light blue, and I don't really want that. So I find that it is easier for you to just tap the product on your lid. And then after a little while, it dries down to where you don't have to worry about it moving or transferring. And then the shade that I am going to use in the inner portion of my eye right here is this color in this Juvias Place palette. It's called Amon. It's a white color, but it does have a little bit of an iridescent silver blue tone to it. So to apply that, I'm going to take another flat shader brush. This is the brush by the Vintage Cosmetic Company, and this is the Step 3 brush, and it just has a flat head on it. And I'm going to use that to pack that color on the inner portion. Like that. You don't have to take it all the way out because they're going to change colors. Alright, and then next up, I'm going to take this color out of another palette, which is the Boxycharm Pure palette I got in my box not too long ago. And you probably guessed it, I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Mia. And I'm going to apply that on the outer portion of my eye using a MAC 242 brush. I'm just going to dip into it, and I'm going to place it right next to this white color. And then I'm going to take the corner of that brush and just kind of flick it into the white so that they kind of merge a little bit. Like that. Okay, and then in that palette there is a black color, and I'm going to use that. It's called Boxy Black, and I'm just going to dip into that and use that on the very outer third of my eye. And to do that, I'm going to use that same flat shader brush from Bodyography Pro and just pack it on the outer portion of my lid, right in this area. And then I'm going to actually like come up very lightly a little bit right up in that area. Then I'm going to take this Morphe E18 brush and just kind of blend this outer portion of those colors together. And then I'm going to go back into that MAC 242 brush and kind of flick the black into that blue a little bit more so that they blend. You don't want that harsh line right there, so I like to slightly just kind of buff it in. And, you know, take your time doing this. Don't go ham, because then you're going to lose product and you'll have to go back into it, which you'll probably have to anyways, but you don't want to bring it over any further than you do. So like I said, take your time, use really soft strokes, that way that you don't permanently mess up anything. And it also helps for you to do your liner. So with this liner, I would definitely recommend this specific liner. It's the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. Not only is it my favorite, but if you use a brush and liner with this, I notice that it catches some of the eyeshadow as you're trying to rub the brush onto it. This is so liquid that it just lays on top of it, and it's a little bit easier to work with if you're trying to do a wing. Alright, and then I'm going to coat my lashes with mascara so I can get ready for my falsies. I am using this new Wander Beauty Unlashed Volume and Curl Mascara. I have not ever used. So I almost forgot to do the glitter. And then I am going to be using Glam Rock by Urban Decay. This is their metal glitter liners. And I ever so lightly just pile this on right up in the crease. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry for a minute and then I'll go back into it in a little bit. For lashes, I'm going to be using these Koko lashes in the style Goddess. These are one of my favorites. I highly recommend them. They're very inexpensive. Alright, while that is drying the glue on my lashes, I'm going to go ahead and prep my skin. I'm going to use the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. This is one of my favorite everyday moisturizers. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of that. Oh yeah, I already did my forehead. Look how red my skin is. Oh, so red. Alright, and for primer, I'm going to just use this Hangover Primer by Too Faced. This is their coconut water probiotic based ingredient and skin revivers. It is silicone free, which I find silicone does make me break out. I have to have what's called a non-comedogenic, so it doesn't fill in my pores. It does, but you know what I'm saying. I remember the days that I didn't believe in primers, but now it's a totally different story. Alright, for foundation, I'm going to be using my Nars Naturally Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Sahel. This is, if you're new to my channel, one of my favorite foundations ever right now. Ah, crap, I always do that. Even to my clients. Like, just stick for just the sake of this video, please. This guy's outside running right now, and every time I see him, it makes me feel like shit. Like, one day I should just pop around the corner and start running with him, even though he's never met me in his life. Okay, for concealer, of course, I'm going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is in the shade Light Neutral. And I'm going to blend that in with my Beauty Real Techniques. Alright, now that that's blended, I'm going to get some of my Airspun loose powder. Set this under my eyes. And so I'm also going to take this Morphe brush that something that I've been liking to do a lot recently is a Morphe M572 brush. It's just a very flat black brush, and I'm going to take the brush and push it against my nose and kind of bake on the sides of it. It kind of casts away any shadows that if you've got a big nose. And I'm going to go ahead and dust a little bit of that powder all over my cheeks because I don't want my bronzer or my sculptor powder to contour my cheeks. I don't want it to stick to my face and it'll just go everywhere. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and contour. I'm using my Pure Sculptor palette, and I'm going to take this shade right here and just kind of chisel out my cheeks. This is a really funny face to make, but I swear it works, at least for me. And then I'm going to just take this brush by Vintage Cosmetic Company and contour my nose a little bit. I like to dip into that medium Pure Sculptor palette again in that medium shade and just run it right here. If it's too harsh, it's okay. And you can take it up into the brow bone a little bit. And then I'll take this brush again and just kind of blend it a little bit more here. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and do some blush. I'm using this Note blush. I guess it's Note Cosmetics. I got it in my Boxycharm box also today. It's in the color Desert Rose. It's this really pretty peachy shade. Holy crap. Damn, son. Oh, let's hope I can get it off. Alright, and then for highlighter, I didn't get any of that, so I'm going to just use my highlighter that's in here. It's just been my go-to lately. I haven't been highlighting a whole lot just because I don't like to highlight all the texture on my skin, and I know that that tends to bring it out a little bit. Like, you couldn't see it at one point, but now you can definitely see it. Alright, now I'm going to start working on the lower lash line. I am going to first take this E18 brush. This is just a small brush from Morphe, and I'm going to take that Veradero shade, which I'm technically supposed to use wet, I think, but I don't. So I'm just going to run this on my lower lash line first and see. Wow, it's got a lot of glitter in it. I forgot. Huh. So I don't really want this to be like a smoky blue, but I can see that it's turning into that. I'm just going to take a clean brush. This is just a Luxie 207T brush, and clean up this bottom line of that blue. And I didn't think I liked it, but I do. I'm going to take this NYX Suede Lip Liner. Yes, it's a lip liner, but it is blue, and I like it. And I'm going to put it in my bottom waterline. Let's see you guys in just a little bit more. Like that. Then I'm going to take that Veradero shade again. Put a little bit on there. Try not to die from it getting in your eye. And then take a flat brush again. Buff it out. And then take the clean Luxie brush and just buff out the edge of that. Alright, and then I'm going to do my lower lash mascara. I'm using my Rimmel Lash Accelerator mascara for my lower lashes. then last but not least for the eyes, I'm going to take this Naked Cosmetics palette I've used in some previous videos of mine, and I'm going to take this highlighter blue shade and I'm going to use that in the inner portion of my eye and on my brow bone. I love this palette because it is very close to the Kat Von D triangle highlighter palette that she has. I don't know the price point, but I do just love. See the difference? Oh, this brush I got from Morphe. It's the Morphe MB26. This is a really good brush to highlight with. Alright, for lips, I'm going to be using this color by NYX Suede Lip Pencil in the shade Sandstorm. I love you! Okay. And then I'm going in with the color by Ofra Cosmetics in the shade Verona. Okay, you guys, this concludes this makeup tutorial. I hope you guys learned something new. Comment below if you did. Leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, share, all that, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.